Hello and welcome to Fashion Report Friday, the weekly video series trying to get you the most MGP possible from the Gold Saucer every week on a Friday when judging begins for the Fashion Report minigame. This is week 332, and this time around the theme, as you can see here, is Jousting Gentlemen. The individual clues for this include silken things for our helm, weird science for our chest, skirts of a feather for our hands, and armored core for our feet. In this video, we have a 100 score, an 80 with dies, and the easiest possible 80 that we could come up with. Without further ado, let's get to that 100. Alrighty then, for the 100 score, nice and simple, then we have ourselves the Neo Ishgardian Hat of Striking. This is something that you can craft in the game, and of course, depending on your access to crafting, this might be easy or not so easy for you to get. This is also obtainable on the market board. I have it under good idea that the scouting version of this will work as well, although I have not tested beyond striking and scouting, so bear that in mind. It's likely some others would work. Other alternatives to this include the Songbird hat, if you have that from Little Ladies Day back in 2017. It's also part of a cash shop attire now that you can get for the Songbird attire if you want to buy that, or the Royal Seneschal's chapeau, which is the originally male variant of that as well from Little Ladies Day in 2017, also on the cash shop as part of the Royal Seneschal's attire. We also have the Evenstar hat, I believe that will work, as well as the Shire Philosopher's hat, and then we have stuff like the Snowman head will actually work, which is quite a surprise actually. That will work for gold rating. Beyond that, I would strongly recommend sticking to things if you're going for a 100 score around Disciple of War, simply because of what the feet require. Moving to the chest piece then, I went for the Charlian Pancratias coat. This is the striking or Pugilist Monk Samurai chest piece that's obtainable at level 59 from a Great Gooble library. This is the normal mode dungeon as part of the MSQ added in Heavensward from the Great Gooble library. This will actually come from any of the chests at the end of the dungeon as well as after the boss. The boss has a chance to give you a chest piece or a weapon or so on and so forth. I think there's some accessories as well, or of course from a chest after you've defeated the boss. I did this a couple of times to get this chest piece. Of course, many other chest pieces would work. I don't think there's a limit on which type of Charlian coats from a Great Gooble library work and what don't, so you can go for any of those, but again, we're limited to Disciple of War because of the boots for the 100. Alternatives to this include things like the Dark Divinity Feldir, which is actually from Odin. Of course, that's something else you can unsync if you would rather, straight into the boss, but you've got a low chance of getting the item you want. Then we have things like Robe of Divine Death from Hullbreaker Isle, or we've got the Robe of the Divine Harvest from Tamtara Deepcroft on hard mode, or Stone Vigil hard mode if I remember. Apparently the Wake Doctor's white coat from All Saints Wake 2022 will also work as well, although I haven't tested that. That would be a good option if you have that as well, but apart from that, we're looking at something locked to Disciple of War. For the gloves then, I went for the Favnerian gloves. This is a fairly easy craft with Leatherworker. You can obviously get this on the market board. Alternatives to this include the Copper Nickel armlets of healing and casting. Those would technically work. We've got the Prophet's arm wraps from Sorkai, the Panegyris arm wraps from Sorkai, and the Ghostbark armlets of maiming from the Siren Song Sea. Those will all work, but of course you might want to get something that's either unlimited to jobs or something related to Disciple of War, because the final slot, as you can see here, is the Steel Plated Caligae. Technically, any Caligae in the game will work, although obviously all of them are limited to Disciple of War and they go up in terms of level requirement. These are crafted with Armorer, which is a little bit annoying unless you have Armorer, available to you and you've been crafting. I'm thinking 3 trial players might find this annoying, or of course from a market board. The Steel-Plated Caligae, the Mithril-Plated Caligae, and the Cobalt-Plated Caligae are confirmed to work. There might be others that also work for this slot, but that's the thing that we're having to tailor the rest of the slots around for the 100, which isn't that great. So let's move on to the 80 with dies. For the 80 with dies then, unfortunately, it's going to require you to get some rather expensive dies. There are actually three jet black dies used on this, which is a problem. We have cork brown, which is from kobold vendors for 334 gil on any weapon in the game and any gloves in the game. Then we've got jet black on helm, legs and feet, and then we have cactuar green, which is from self vendors for just over 334 gil as well. I think that's on any chest in the game. So honestly, it's the jet black that sort of lets this down, but based on what we've learned here, we could probably use some lesser dies for some use. Let's go to the easy 80. So for our first easy 80 then, cutting it very fine here, just onto the 80 points, we've got any helm in the game and we've dyed that sut black dye. Any chest in the game we've dyed, well, in this case, mud green dye, but we could go for any green dye we wanted to from a vendor. Then any gloves in the game dyed bark brown or any brown dye that you can get from a vendor. And then we have ourselves sut black dye on any legs in the game combined with the steel plated caligay. So one item and 4 dyes is enough to get you what you need. Of course, you know, not everybody wants to go and craft a steel plated caligay. So that's one option. Another option would obviously be to tailor around another item from the 100 score and then use the dyes around that. For example, here we've got sut black on any helm in the game, sut black on any feet in the game, sut black on any legs in the game, and then we've gone with any brown dye on any gloves in the game, and then we've combined that with the Pancratias coat that we got from the Great Google Library. That will work perfectly fine as well, such as combining stuff like the songbird hat, if you had that with some dyes as well. If you happen to have the songbird attire from one of the previous events, I don't know if this is something more reachable for people, but essentially if you just have the hat alone, that will give you gold slot for that. But obviously if you dye any chest piece, any green color, like we say, any hands in the game, any brown dye, so you can get from any vendor, and then sut black on any legs and any feet in the game, you'll get an 80 score that way. Or more recently, if you were playing in 2022 and you took part in the All Saints Wake event, you might have the Wake Doctor's white coat, which has since been added to the cash shop, but this was attainable in the game and is usable by everybody level 1 and above. If you happen to have that, that will give you gold rating for the chest slot. So then all you would need to do is put sut black on any helm in the game, on any legs in the game, and any feet in the game, all sut black, and then any brown dye from a vendor on any gloves in the game, and that'll get you an 80 score. It's basically about juggling what you have access to, what you might already have, but hopefully this really helps. I've tried to give you a good variety of options for free trial, but it's going to come down to what you have access to and what you've already done in the game and when you started. So this hopefully gives you some help anyway. Free trial players, it's always a bit of a rough time, but hopefully this answered this. It's going to be very difficult for you to avoid not doing a dungeon unless you have something like the songbird hat and then, you know, dye the other things, or the Wake Doctor's white coat. But again, if you've missed those events, then you're probably going to have to do something like this, and like the rest of us, have to do dungeons. Anyway, hopefully that helped. Obviously, a link in the description to the Reddit thread where this is theorized each and every week. Go give that some love. Thank you so much for watching my videos, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.